Welcome to episode 75 of Nobody Special.
This episode, we're talking about life change and trust.
The Gospel Outpost presents Nobody Special. Hey everyone, welcome to Nobody Special. Two Nobodies talking about the somebody who matters. I'm Danny, your trust fall expert and host of Nobody Special.
And I'm Caleb, your other host of Nobody Special. This is a show where two generations of people talk about God, pop culture, politics, and everything in between, all while not taking any of it too seriously. Hello, Danny.
Hello, Caleb. How are you?
I am good, Danny.
Okay, Caleb, here's the deal. We normally start off and do a little bit of banter at the start of the show, just, talking about stuff that's interesting, that kind of stuff.
Banter.
And I said, sorry, let me move my keyboard.
That's right.
I had said the following. Caleb, can I talk about the dumbest thing I have seen on Facebook this week? And you said...
No.
Yes, which I guess is fine.
I'm pretty sassy when it comes to Danny trying to talk about Facebook things that are dumb.
It was so colossally stupid. It stuck with me for 4 days. I've been thinking about it over and over, and I just can't get past it.
Okay.
And then just as I thought I was at the point of being able to get past it,
Right.
I opened up my Christian news sites, and there was a story, and I meant to talk about this on the previous episode and just didn't get to it, so we're talking about it now. Joshua Harris...
Right.
The author of the book, I Kissed Dating Goodbye. Did we talk about him on a previous episode?
Yeah. Was it Valentine's Day? That was like...
I think it was like a year and a
Valentine's
half ago.
Day. It was Valentine's Day.
It was a fair amount of time ago
Valentine's Day. It was the last Valentine's Day.
Really? This has been a stupid long 4 months.
Yeah.
Has it really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, it's only
We're going to
been
get
4
into why
months.
it's been a long 2019 for both of us, I think.
That's what this episode is about.
So Joshua Harris has, just a recap, he put out that book called I Kissed Dating Goodbye that I gave to a girl I had a
Like
crush
one
on,
does.
and she likely kissed me goodbye, only without the kiss.
She just...
Side hugged me
left.
goodbye.
Oh, that's what you said.
You-
Oh, no, but you did mention that book, yeah.
It gave me the holy handshake of friendship.
The
Pleasure
high
to meet you, sir.
The high five of brotherhood.
The high five of friend zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Brotherhood.
So he has since recanted a fair amount of that book, and please go check out that episode. Or don't. I don't know if it's good. It's probably fine. Go
No,
check
it was
it
actually really good. I love that episode because we talked about Saint Valentine and
out. Oh, yeah.
in our love life, which is non-existent. It's great. It's great.
Clear.
See if we can revive this
dark
thing.
joke. That's really dark. Anyway, so the Christian and news sites have all been just talking about how this man is separating from his wife.
Wow.
Now, I have thoughts on this, and I feel as if I can sum them up rather succinctly.
Right.
Leave Joshua Harris alone. This isn't a news story. I'm sorry. This isn't a story. And all that this is doing is taking a public figure and airing out his personal business for reasons because he wrote a book on dating that he's been trying to do the smart thing with. So stop talking about Joshua Harris. He's a man.
Right.
He's a good man. I actually follow him on Instagram. To be honest, he's one of the more interesting people I follow. He's got some cool stuff. But I think it's only getting this amount of attention because of the book that he did.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair at all.
Well, life isn't fair. All right, we're done with it.
Yeah, I don't know. So in honor of that,
yeah.
for people still interested in dating, there's a book called When God Writes Your Love Story. Go pick that up because it doesn't take the hard stance of don't date anybody, and it doesn't take the other stance of date all the people that you can. It says give God the opportunity to tell the story. But also,
True change.
if people are going through difficult times, don't put it on blast. I mean, I can put things on Facebook.
Especially Christians.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, a known Christian, actually, I think he's also in a crisis of faith, so let's just blast his news on church leaders.com. Hey
yeah,
guys,
that website is kind
stop
of
just
kind of a butthole because
get-
it's just
it's not
sometimes
just,
it has good stuff,
yeah,
and sometimes it's just like the obnoxious
right.
classic Christian culture.
Sometimes it feels as if it's more journalism than Christian.
Exactly. Sometimes it feels like it's the CNN of.
We're throwing a
Christian
lot of
news.
shade for a podcast that nobody
Hey,
listens
sponsor us.
to. No, no, but I mean, I get it. I get the interest in this, but there's no other point in this except for watching a man melt down and being entertained by it. It's not news; it's entertainment, and
Right.
and that's the honest part of that. That I think is just highly, highly inappropriate. Caleb, if you tell me a personal thing, I promise I won't tweet it or put it on Facebook of like, hey, Danny, I'm struggling, through blank. I'm not going to be like, local Christian Caleb Clow, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And the only caveat to that is if it's funny, I will
Then I'll
straight
do
up
it.
do I will
Yeah.
straight up do it.
That's what justifies this stuff.
Yes.
Making fun of people. Psh. Yeah. Danny.
If you tell me that you're scared of clowns, I will put you in a group text where we just text you pictures of clowns.
I'm not scared of clowns.
Me
so.
neither. Wink.
You still have to watch it.
I
so,
do have to watch it.
I just got
And
my mom.
you
just,
have to watch it. Sorry, I missed
my
that.
mom just gave
can
me
I get
the
the line
DVD
again?
for it. What?
Can I get the line again?
No, I'm not gonna.
No,
not
you
gonna
have
write
to
it.
watch it.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Caleb, this 2019 has been a long.
It's been crazy.
It's been a long few weeks. So
Wait,
we
man.
have some things we can announce at this point. I want to talk about the thing I straight up missed previous episode that I do apologize about.
Yeah.
Caleb, your mom and dad left you. That's
Yes.
not what I mean.
Wow, you
I
made
know,
that way
I really
sadder
did.
than it actually is.
Well, but here's the deal. I'm super excited for them and like a little bit jealous of where they're going.
Yeah. Same.
Like, so Caleb, tell us about what's going on.
So my parents, they are, well, my dad, he has a job, an awesome job, which he was able to do remotely in Jacksonville
Okay.
with another guy.
Right.
But it eventually called him to the old Tejas. Tejas. No, that was close. That was a close one, guys. But we're good. Texas.
Go ahead and bleep that out, Gary.
Gary, gosh. But basically, so my parents moved to Texas. They actually, at the time of this coming out, they'll have been gone for about a week. And yeah, so that is sad, of course. But
Yeah.
there's good things because my mom gets to go to one of the coolest churches ever, the
Right.
Village Church.
Right. So we didn't give her nobody special merch.
Yeah, no,
So
we
we're
didn't.
gonna need to do
Right.
that, right? Like
Yeah.
that's just gonna hey Karen.
Why does your shirt say nobody special, Karen? Oh, well, it's actually
dude.
this awesome podcast.
Dude, she's just gonna say it's my son. Like yes, the
my son,
context of
yeah.
that. No,
This isn't me, it's my son.
I
Yeah.
am crazy jealous
We don't
of
talk about
them just for that. Matt Chandler is a pastoral kind of a hero that I admired very great.
Matty boy.
Oh my gosh, I've almost met him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the lamest, coolest
I know.
story I've ever
Well,
heard.
no, like of my pastoral hero or people I admire, I've met JD Greer and was working so hard to not say something stupid. You have no idea. So instead, I complimented him on his sermon series because it was actually a really good sermon series. I was just trying to flatter him. And
Wow, flattery.
no, I wasn't trying to do it. It was a great sermon series. And
Yeah.
then I was just talking to this man saying like, I am talking to JD Greer.
Yeah.
I am worried I am talking out loud right now.
Yeah.
Someone pinch me if I'm talking
That's how
out
it
loud.
always feels
Yeah.
like when you talk to, not, I mean, like people who are big in your
Right,
life. Or
right.
Even celebrities. I don't
Right.
know. It's crazy.
So I've met him. The next is I want to meet Chandler. And actually, another person on staff at his church, JT English. Love that
I feel
man.
like you like him more than Matt Chandler because you talk about him all the time.
Well, because
JT English this, JT English to that.
one of them was on sabbatical and the other is filling in for him in the pulpit. So
Yeah.
currently, it's a little bit easier to talk about JT English than Matt Chandler.
Yeah, I mean,
Matt
I've
Chandler,
been
please
talking
be
about the
blessed
past 2 years. So.
in your sabbatical, please get arrested and all that. So
Make sure to tune in on our podcast so you can get all juiced up for your next or just
You
your
had to go
battery
pray
drained
and
even
fast
more.
and drown his phone in whatever lake he was at retreat at.
Yeah.
No, but Caleb, I know. I mean, I've been in that kind of a situation that parents have gone out of town. But all right, this episode's going to be a bit different than others. It's going to be what are Caleb and Danny doing, and
More what Danny.
I think
'Cause
for the
Danny-
first time, both of us have stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
But Caleb, I know. I've been in this kind of a space before that the parents move,
Right.
and it was difficult to explain this to people. I was fine. Also, I was entirely freaked out. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, the less I think about it, the less I mean, like, I don't know. It's I wouldn't say I'm freaked out. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not like sad. Of course, who wouldn't,
Right.
you know,
Right.
want their parents? But like, it's I mean, it's interesting because I mean, I moved out probably like what almost 2 months before they
It's only
left.
been 2 months.
And I like barely got to see them anyway, so I feel like that was a good thing to prepare me. I'll say I was more freaked out 2 months ago. Like when I moved into my apartment, I was like, okay, this is where I live. And my mommy and daddy aren't with
Right.
me.
Did you have the breakdown about the dishes that I had?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Because that
Danny
was
always
like
talks about his dishes for
no. I mean, that was the first thing. It was just a pizza I had made. I mean, a DiGiorno pizza, and then I'm staring at the dish, and because I ate the whole thing because I was super stressed, and I'm staring at it going like, I have to do this. There is no one else here,
Right.
who's gonna do this. So it's odd. I don't have a lot of memories of that whole apartment, by the way.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a time I showered or did dishes there, and I know I did. I
Yep.
just can't think of it.
That's funny.
Sure. It's also terrifying that there's a year gap in my memory so if I said anything horrible during that year gap, I apologize.
Yeah. But I mean, it was yeah, I feel like that whole transition prepared me more. But I mean, it is of course, it is sad. But that's like, I mean, I honestly haven't thought about it too much recently. But it's cool because I know I'm gonna see them still. You know?
Right.
It's not like I can't like text or call them.
Sure.
That always I mean, I feel like this age and like technology and stuff, it really is a lot less of a like big deal.
Yeah.
Because of that. Because I could FaceTime them and basically have. I mean, it's not the same experience as
No.
being able to hang out with them. But
Yeah.
I mean, still, it's I don't know. Yeah, I've been doing fine with it, which I feel like is, I mean, a lot different for some people.
Right.
But it's transition, and this whole past year of my life has just been like crazy. So I feel like God has been kind of like preparing me. But yeah, so it's been good.
So what's been the most difficult part of kind of, gosh, I'm trying to not say becoming an adult, because to be honest, I've treated you closer to an adult for the past 2 years, and then I have some adults who I feel are more childish than you. Shade thrown.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's what we do here.
The most difficult part. I mean, I would say, to be honest, it's been like taking care of like my relationship with Jesus, because once all those people leave your life, and like
Right.
it was mainly, I would say the biggest thing was me, which I'm not really leaving youth group. I'm actually becoming a serve staff there, but like also I was on staff, or I was an apprentice at the church I go to, but and then I stopped that, and I was having classes, and I went to all staff. So there's all of these different sources, and also like just my normal class for school, of just, you know, learning about God and learning more and having all those different communities and knowing all these different people and all these people speaking life into me. And that number just went like severely down.
Yeah.
And it's like really, I've had to take faith as like kind of, I mean, it's truly been me transitioning into my own faith is what it feels like, which I've not been doing as well as I would like. I mean, like when it comes to staying in the Word and praying as often as I should, but I'm definitely, I would say, recuperating. Is that a word?
Yes, that's definitely a word. I got you.
I'm recuperating now, and like I'm getting back to the point like after that transition, to where I can start. I feel like becoming more self-aware of those times where I should be plugging into the Word or praying, and actually doing that. And I would say, yeah, that's been the hardest part is continuing to chase God.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a huge part. I mean, I don't know. I've got that small group that I've been talking to, and I'm so proud of all of them. But the thing I've watched group after group after group do is there's this idea of they have to be independent. They have to be independent. They have to be self-sufficient. They have to be all these things. And the deeper I get into adulthood, the more I start to think that's just a load of garbage, that none of us are intended to be independent on our own. And that it is nice to have mom and dad wake me up and drag me to church, because then I go to church. At this point, if I well, that's going to change in a bit, but at this point, if I don't go to church, I can get away with it. I can super do it.
Right.
I am glad my parents spent time dragging me to church, because to be honest, on the Sundays I don't go because I'm out of town or anything else. It's unsettling, to say the least. It's as if something is wrong, and I appreciate that is the instinct that I've had to build.
Yeah.
So as far as being an adult now, and again, you have 2 tattoos. Definitely an adult, and you'll burn in hell for both of those.
Yep.
What if there's anything that you could tell 15-year-old Caleb? What do you tell him?
15-year-old Caleb. What was I doing at the time? I don't know.
Talking like this.
I mean, I would say kind of, man, I mean, that's hard. I would say.
Yeah. I didn't write this down either. I'm just putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fully aware.
Yeah, that's not an apology either. So like,
I mean, I would say I would tell myself to kind of stay passionate and work towards the things that I'm passionate towards more so than focusing on school and other stuff, and kind of don't be as awkward.
okay.
I could tell myself that right now, but
Intentionally awkward or accidentally awkward?
at that time, I would say this is a very interesting phase I've gone through. But it's like I was not intentionally awkward. I was very just awkward. But
That's just play the hand you dealt, baby.
but I've literally over the past couple of years,
Not all of us get
I've
dealt the
become
royal
so
flush.
comfortable like just being awkward.
Right.
That it's kind of fun to me. Like, because there's times where I will just make stuff awkward when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah,
Just
Thursdays
because
when we
it's
tape, we
comedic.
both do that.
It's just comedic. I mean, and that's really not good of me to do
No.
because it honestly isn't good for growing relationships with people.
No.
But it shouldn't
Not the
really.
best.
This is terrible. This is me getting into like sin nature that I am way too comfortable in. But I'll literally. I was driving one of my dad's friends back to I was dropping him off at his car at this place, and so like he would ask me questions and I would answer, and I'd just be just silent, just like because I was curious to see his reaction.
Right.
And it's internally like hilarious to me, which I should not do to people because
Right.
I know in their mind they're like freaking out. They're like,
Right.
am I like, and this kid's weird, blah, blah.
Hey, how are you today? Yes.
And but yeah, he would just be like silent, and just the whole rest of the car ride was just quiet.
What'd you do?
And I
Kinda
enjoyed
like
it way too much.
Did you know they found bodies in these woods over here? Like, like one of those. Like as you're driving, I'm like, can I get out of the car now?
I mean, I would say nowadays I have the ability to just turn that off now. I feel like I can be fairly not awkward, but also I still have my awkward moments.
Right.
Which I am
And some
more
of those are
comfortable in.
intentional.
Some of them are
Yeah.
intentional and some of them aren't. But
Yeah.
the ones that aren't intentional now, I am like fine with.
Right.
Before it would like
Right.
ruin me. I would be like so embarrassed.
Right.
But like now I'm just,
Yeah.
I've cared less about what people think, which is not good, but also personally helps me, I would say.
There's
Right,
a balance
there's a
in there in the
healthy-
middle.
yeah, exactly.
That I'm not trying to win the affection of mankind, but also at the same time,
You don't want to be a turd.
right.
Yeah.
It's to be upstanding in the way outsiders view us, but also still chase the affection of God, not man. It's a balance. It's a hard balance, and I think, I mean, having been an adult for a while, I haven't found it, and I'm not sure I'm ever gonna find it.
Yeah.
I think I'll find it on the other side of heaven as I get there. Like, oh, I get it now. Okay, this is easier, but
Yeah.
it is a balance.
I mean, yeah, for anyone that's awkward out there or like feels antisocial, like you're not good at talking to people. I mean, what it really came to me, I'm going to sum my whole thing up with this, is what it came down to me. And what I'll probably tell my, this is a real thing I'd probably tell my 15-year-old self is, like, find your identity in Christ, and that may take a while. But once you do that, and even if you're not fully in your identity of Christ, I mean, it's a process because I
Right.
don't think anyone fully realizes that yet. But I would say just to anyone who's awkward or like anything like that, really just don't care as much. And that kind of is how it helped me. Like, just relax. Because when you go into, really, for me, when I'm awkward, it's because I'm going into something all tense and I get all rigid and I'm just really,
Right.
awkward and quiet and, seemed really paranoid. But it's just...
We still have our tinfoil hats from last episode if we want to.
But it's just like, if you relax and truly focus on just growing the relationship with that person, whether you know them or not, and know that you are a child of God, and that is your identity, and through that, there should be, for me, it was a just huge confidence boost. And once you have confidence, I mean, it's really, it's all you need.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that's me.
Awesome.
So, Daniel,
Yes.
it's your side of the story now.
So, as of the air date of this podcast, this will be coming out on Friday, August the 2nd. This will have been my second day at a new job.
Yay!
So I am now the children's minister, or children's ministry director. Yes, I don't know.
Something like
I'm still
that.
figuring out all the ins and outs. I don't even know my phone number yet there. But it was kind of a case of,
Where? You never said where. Where?
Oh, Switzerland Community Church.
Yeah.
Give them a shout out.
Awesome
Check them out.
church.
Oh, the preaching. I'm not just saying this because I know them, and I do know them. The preaching's fantastic. They're both the pastor and the what's he, the executive pastor,
Right.
are both people I had done school with. they're both amazing people. They're incredibly smart. They're way smarter than I will ever be. They're phenomenal. No, like they're and I don't know if they listen. They're the type of kind, intimidating that it's
Yeah.
I'm intimidated, but it's I'm glad to be there kind of thing. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's the thing.
It's a challenge for the new job. Like, is that what you're saying?
No, I mean them as people. There's
Like working with them.
there's an anointing that comes off them, and I try to never say that because it feels so just like Christianese, and it's been overplayed and oversaid so many times. But there's this clear mantle of grace that God has put on them that's very
Right.
clear just by talking to them. They have a heart. Not only to their church, but to their community and to their staff and everything, and it's a good
Right.
place to be. That it's good and scary at the same time, and that's just the honest thing, because I'm going to have to trust God in this. I was
Right.
I was kind of joking, told a few people that I was voluntold I applied to this job. I had like 3 different people all say, "Hey, do you know they're hiring a children's minister at this church?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And then after someone said, "Hey, turn in your application today, please," I kind of did that. That wasn't Jake either. That was Kate.
Yeah.
Kate, who is fantastic, has been a person who stands behind me, backing me up, and just taking a cattle prod just every now and then going, like, okay, fine, I'm moving. Like, she's great. She's actually going to get her PhD from Aberdeen.
Ooh, I have no idea what Aberdeen is.
She's crazy smart. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And all right, that's another case that Kate considers me to be more of an academic than her, and I'm like, no, Kate.
Yeah.
One of us is getting their PhD from a crazy good school.
Right.
The other is not. All right. I am, as a side note, can I go down a rabbit trail? This is a rabbit trail off a rabbit trail, but we're doing it.
Yeah.
I am quasi thinking about a PhD at some point. The program I'm interested in is from Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. So I'll be outcast by my Baptist and my Calvinist friends for going to Gordon Conwell and Southern Baptist. So I'll be made fun of by both instead of bringing them both together. Which I guess is a form of unity, but okay. The problem is, hey, Southern Baptist, if you're paying attention and are interested in sponsoring a podcast, that will vastly change the next things I'm about to say.
Yeah. I
If
have a feeling they want
for no, it's I get the thing they're doing. Their program is great because of
things.
Stephen Wellum. He's an author. I appreciate him a ton. Anywho, their program is like $56,000.
Right.
Or if I've been attending a Baptist church for a calendar year, it's $36,000. Sign me up for the potluck. I'm going. So I don't know if I can dual citizenship a church, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there a Baptist church in town that only meets on like Monday afternoons or something? I don't know.
Gosh.
I mean, we get it, right? We get it. So anyway, no, I'm totally kidding. Except if you want to sponsor the podcast, please do. So I applied to the children's minister. What is the job? Children's ministry director. There we go. And to be honest, I was just, by this point, I'd been applying to jobs for a fair amount of time. I want to be careful what I'm saying here. This is really personal. And so
Get personal.
I had
Dive in.
I had applied to an internship at TVC at Matt Chandler's church. And what happened is one of the applications lost. It's just gone.
Right.
Gone. They never got it. The other, it was for this other aspect that the person ended up asking, so why are you applying to an internship? And I wanted to say, because every other place told me I'm underqualified.
Yeah.
So now you're going to pull this I'm overqualified stuff. And that, to be honest, was the breaking point that I needed.
Right.
in that whole process. Because that felt like rock bottom.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I told you about any of this stuff. That was like 2 weeks of me just spiraling down the toilet of it's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Oh, I could tell.
Yeah. I was just like, I
You
did
can
that
hide
kinda,
some stuff from me, but
yeah, no, I couldn't hide that at all.
Yeah.
And I'm normally good at hiding stuff. And I was just doing that like, this is fine. This is totally fine.
Yeah.
And it's stupid because at this point I'm able to see that this is so clear the hand of God steering in a specific path to do a specific thing, and that I had to trust him. The biggest thing I've been needing to learn in 2019 is trusting God, because I'm in a job now that I am thrilled, I am excited, I'm glad, I am honored, and I am 100% needing to trust God at every step. And I just wanted to be positive. I took the time to appreciate the people that need to be told I appreciate them. I mean, the whole church, I've been going there a bit. They're such amazing people that I am honored to be a part of this church.
Right.
They have welcomed me in, and they're excited that I'm there. I'm excited to be there. And all the counsel I got along the way. I had some doubts at first just because it's scary stepping into a new thing. It I mean, that's just honest.
Yep.
That I have to throw props to my dad, who doesn't do this often. And as I was just kind of talking out a few of the thoughts I had, he's a nice guy, so he said it different. I get my sass from my mother, and she knows it, so don't even come at me. It was
This is true. This is all true.
I was talking, and he just kind of said, "Okay, but shut up a minute. This is the thing I feel God is saying in this moment." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Now, my dad's a man of God. He's a great man. He taught me a ton about strength, endurance, all that. He taught me some wonderful things growing up,
Yeah.
more than he probably thinks that he did. To see him have expressed that in that kind of a manner,
Right.
that it threw me off of like, okay, maybe I need to pay attention to what's going on right now, because God might be trying to do something.
Right.
And then the other thing is our conversation where I asked, am I about, or tell me if I'm about to be stupid, and you said you're about to be stupid. And that was probably the most helpful thing I needed to hear out, because I needed somebody to say that in order to go like, yeah, don't make dumb decisions based in fear.
Right.
Because, I don't do change well. And I had just moved. Like, there was a lot of change going on, and it was just like, let's not change another thing. But
Yeah.
but overall, at this point, I'm able to say that this is so clear the hand of God that I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's great. And the biggest part is I have to learn how to trust God more than I've ever had to trust God before.
Right.
I'm talking a lot. Jump in whenever you want. I'm sorry.
No, I'm letting you talk.
Proverbs 3:5-8 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Be not wise in your own eyes, but fear the Lord, and turn away from evil. And it will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones." And that's for a minimum of the rest of 2019. That's going to be my goal.
Right.
Is trust God in every step, because there's some big decisions that I'm going to have to make, but I know that if God's called me to this thing, then God has called me to this thing.
Yeah.
That the skills and training that I have is going to be the thing God has called to this. And so, although I need to get outside counsel, I need to do all this. God has called a specific person to do a thing as only that specific person could do.
Right.
So I need to be sure I'm spending time in prayer, in the word, and being intentional about that, being accountable to things. And the good part about this church that I'm astounded by, if there are any pastors tuning into this, that is not only an understood part of the job, it is a requirement of that job. If I do not do those things, there are consequences because of that. But also there's opportunities in that. Probably the coolest thing is about once a month I have to take a day off as a spiritual day. I can't stay in the apartment and I can't go into the office, but I have to go to a place, pray. It's a spiritual day.
That's cool.
And that's built into, like, no, that is a day you must take. That is not a question. It isn't, well, if there's space in the calendar, like, that is important to seek the face of God. And I'm like, that's important, especially if it's a high-stress pastoral job. People need to be sure to do that. So
Right, yeah.
I'm honored to be there. It's great.
It's cool. I mean, no, seriously, this church, I've never attended it once, but I can tell you it's straight up fantastic. I mean, mainly because my sister, my oldest sister, actually goes there.
Sup, Noelle?
And
I don't know if she listens.
she and I trust her and where God has called her in her life, and I trust her in her theology and the way she chooses which church she's going to and which church she's going to raise her family in.
Right.
And her husband too, Tim. You're awesome. And so basically, I know that if they chose this church, there's something God has definitely shown them about it. And I'm super excited because not only am I, as the uncle to my niece and nephews, I mean I get to spiritually pour into them in whatever way I can, whether it's just hanging out with them and
now I get to tell you how to do it better.
He,
I'm sorry. That is so arrogant.
Now,
I'm so sorry.
Now Danny is they're under your wing, dude.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It was weird. I've always said this about any kind of children or student ministry. The speed that you get attached. I was there the first week and I was just kind of staring at it going, I was like, these are, now granted, they're these are, if I'm the shepherd, these are the sheep. And I'm like, these are the sheep.
Yeah.
I
Little
would,
children.
I would murder anyone who came in to hurt them.
Yeah.
Like it was strange just how quickly I got to, if a wolf comes in, I'm gonna beat the tar out of this wolf to be sure the sheep are fine. It was, I mean, the only other thing I could compare it to is that thing Ryan Reynolds actually said about his kid. Did you hear that thing he said?
I think I know what you're talking about, but say it.
He's talking about how he the day he got married to his wife Blake, that he didn't think he could ever love a person more than he did Blake, just because of the outpouring of that. And then the day they had their first child, as he's holding their first child, he said that he said, I knew in that a moment, if anything, if that kid is ever in any kind of danger, I would take Blake and use her as a body shield to protect this child. I'm just like, kind of that's the only way I know to describe it is just like there's this thing God put inside to care about a child that is not even mine, and just what a picture of the gospel that is to just go, I mean that's God giving up Jesus Christ in order to save people who are against him.
Right.
I mean, that's the outpouring of caring over people in a godly manner, of being willing to lay down everything on behalf of another person.
Right. When did you know, and I know that this is something that's interesting to me. When did you, know that God was specifically calling you to, ministry? Like, what was that process like?
So, it was, I was there the first week, and I was just kind of staring at it going, I was like, these are, now granted, they're in the apartment,
this children's ministry? Because I know
Mm-hmm.
it is an odd subject. A lot of people think,
Mm-hmm.
well, first off, there's being called to ministry, and then, I'm only called to,
Mm-hmm.
a
Right.
a pastor of the body of the church. I'm only called to administration. Like, when did you know? Because I know
And
that you've had
people who are
experience
called to
in both.
admin, by the way,
Yeah.
bless you. Pastors who aren't called to admin, throw gobs of money at your admin person. They will save your life. Okay,
Yeah.
just a PSA.
But, I mean,
When
yeah.
did I know I was called to children's ministry? So the biggest thing that I carry a passion towards, and even the whole idea that birthed the Gospel Outpost, is discipleship. Is that I got how there's multiple ways I can say this. One of them is more diplomatic. I got, and I'm not going to choose the diplomatic one because that's what we do. I got tired of just the garbage of Christianity that's just attractional junk. Because so many questions. Part of it is I was talking to a few of the teens out of the old student group, and I just asked, what questions do they have about their faith? And their answers really messed me up pretty bad, because these are people I'd spent a bit of time on. It's not I didn't give much time to them, but I got enough that these shouldn't have been the questions. But it was what is the Bible and how do I read it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, bibliology. I didn't teach any bibliology. Good for me, because I just kind of assumed that they understood it.
Right.
Okay. Then it was a bunch of doctrinal questions about Christ, the nature of Christ, the work of Christ. And I was like, what exactly did I teach? And how did I mess this up so bad? I mean, that was the whole
Right.
idea. And so I had, on accident, and granted, I don't think it's as harsh as I'm making it sound, especially towards the end, I got better, but teaching them things to do or not do misses the entire point of the gospel, that is teaching them to be a child of God.
Yeah.
And the importance that we are saved by grace through faith.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of, that's kind of the birthing point of that, is that as people have come to Christ, because especially as a youth pastor, there's a lot of pressure to get people to pray a prayer and then go like, I had 4 commitments to Christ today. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what?
Mm-hmm.
And that probably started on a mission trip that I was on in the Bahamas, that I was praying with people that they could receive Christ, and they did, and they prayed, and then I went, and then what?
Yeah. What are the next steps?
I'm leaving town tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, what? And they had some things in place. They had a church in town that they're going to be following up, that kind of stuff. But it was like, okay. So I kind of, the biggest thing I've been about is discipling and bringing people to Christ. Those are two that go hand in hand. And most people come to Christ before the age of 18, and specifically elementary school. If they're in church during elementary school, that is a foundational period of teaching.
Yeah.
I just got to the point 3 months ago that I could do the fruit of the Spirit without humming.
Yeah.
Like the fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. The fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. Because the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
Wow.
Like that. I can still do that.
That's some talent right there.
And I just got to a point of not needing to do that. I can say like it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control is the one I have to be careful on, because I try and go self-control. Like the song, and that's a dead giveaway. Yeah. So that it was kind of the idea that this is an opportunity to put down the foundation of gospel at the most important time as a person is growing up in their faith.
Exactly. That's interesting, because I know that was, like, through this process, that was kind of the what seemed to me as one of your biggest kind of questions was like, am I called to, shepherd children?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, from my perspective, it was pretty simple in my mind, where it was like,
Right.
I think
Don't
you're
be
called
stupid,
to
yeah.
shepherd people,
Right.
and children are people.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah.
I think that you're good for this job.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Probably the weirdest thing is that. Oh, should I tell? All right, hold on. I'm just gonna throw out the humility on here. I'm trying to not just like air out all my fears for on my second day in the office.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the like I'm a goofy scientist kind of a person.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that, and this whole thing has just been learning to trust God and to shut up and do what God says. And God fired a warning shot at me that I was like, okay, I see you. I see you. I got it. I'm not
Yep.
going to do those kind of stuff. Like, well, God, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it on these terms. God's like, oh, really?
Pretty sure
W-
you're not
one of the
that
things
crazy terms.
one of the things I had toured, it was they do cool thing. They do clubs that they meet in people's front yards in their neighborhoods, and it's phenomenal. It's a small vacation Bible school, but it's on tour in multiple homes going on at the same time.
On tour.
Yeah, no, it's really sweet. And the kids, they get there because it's the middle and high school. They get there and it's just high energy the whole time they're going, and it's great and it's phenomenal.
Right.
And I swear to you, the first person that gets off the bus at the place I'm at is in a crazy scientist kind of a costume, and he's doing that. And I just felt as if God had been saying, if I say to do that, just know you will be doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this doesn't get any more
Noted.
clear. So
Yeah.
it's trusting God is scary because to do that, you have to give up all form of control.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's okay because if I'm giving up control, I'm giving it to the one person who's able to do infinitely more than I could ever imagine. And so that's the idea of blind faith.
Right.
Is just going like, okay, God's called me to this. He'll see me through this. And again, that's cliche, and I hate it, and I'm having trouble.
Mr. Rhymey over here.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, you got to get into that for this children's ministry. Got to get it stuck in their brains.
Right. If it's accurate. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
some children's stuff is just like,
Yeah.
God only
Bad.
loves you when you don't lie. Like, what? What are you doing? What now? Like, scale that back. So, no, I'm excited because I get to pour into kids that I just have a heart for. I have a real heart for it, and it's been growing. And then I get to critique children's content and kind of beef it up in theology. And yeah, I'm in a healthy place, and I'm excited for it. So,
What is the what's the kind of contrast to? Because I mean, you've talked a bit on the podcast about your current job. Like, what are you excited to see transition out of, and what do you see as not only like bringing up negative things from your old job?
No, yeah,
but like,
yeah.
what do you see as maybe the negatives and the positives of that?
So I'm the person I am because of the past I've gone through. And so the current job I'm in has taught me a ton of things that have prepared me to step into this job.
Right.
My current job is an admin-based job. Goodbye, camera. My current job.
Wow, this happens
there we
way
go.
too often.
I gotta get more batteries. My current job is an admin-based job.
Yeah.
And to be 100% honest, prior to that, my admin skills were lacking. They weren't good because I had probably my first actual job that I considered to be a job. It was as student pastor, and no one had taught me how to do the administrative things. So I just kind of made it up as I went along, and super didn't do great.
Yeah.
So if I'm stepping into an office job, the only thing that it is admin.
Right.
And so there are skills I picked up that have that it's been God polishing some of the rough edges in order to smooth them out to step into this. I mean, now I'm stepping into a job that it isn't an admin job, but the admin game has to be on point.
Yeah.
Because it's multiple systems going
Yeah.
on that have to be communicated proper
Right.
to volunteers, to parents, to staff. Everything has to be on point. The budget has to be nailed down. It's got to be accurate and all that. And then on top of that, there's still the teaching aspects and the greater picture there. So it's I never want to specifically try and speak ill of the thing that got me to the place I'm at.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, unless it sucked, you know what I mean? If it had been abusive, I'd be calling it out on the podcast every week to the point that the podcast would get bad. But it was a good place. I was thankful to be in the place I was at. It put me in the place I needed to be to do the thing God had called me to do, and taught me a ton about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably the biggest thing, I hate calling people on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Partially because I'm a millennial and partially because I have a speech impediment. Why can't I just email them? Well, because they're 65 and they're bad at email, and that's an actual factor. So I've gotten better at pick up the phone and call them, don't send an email.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how often that is a better idea.
Yeah.
Hey, just wanted to talk to you a little bit.
I mean, I think that's a big thing. Going back a bit to what you were saying before about learning stuff from your job, and that's kind of like what I've been realizing too. When people ask you, like me, since I'm like new to my job, when they ask me, what have you been learning, new stuff at your job? Like specifically people, from my former boss from my apprenticeship at the church. He's like, what have you been learning?
Suck less. Yeah.
And that's that's kind of what it is, because people expect you to say new camera skills or stuff. Like for me, it's filmmaking stuff. Like they expect you to say new not techniques for filmmaking.
Right.
And honestly,
I learned how to dolly the camera on it.
Like for you and for me, I think I think this applies to everyone. When you learn stuff from a job, it really isn't about the actual skills and techniques of your job. Yeah. It's about the kind of up in the air. I don't know how to describe it. Not the physical,
functioning with another human being in the room.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, not to be over dramatic, but that is it. It's like, oh, it's not just me. It's us. It's the body of Christ. It's more than a person. It's I have to communicate.
And that's the thing that I'm glad that I'm learning from my job, and I think that you're probably glad that you learned from that job and your past jobs. Right. Because I think those skills, communication, working with people, being part of a team, working full time, learning how to manage your time, managing complexity. Right. It is way more valuable than any freaking camera skill that I could learn. And way more valuable than any like teaching or preaching thing that you could probably learn too, because the church functions off of communicating well, and people loving each other, and that is, I mean, that's what's cool to me about that whole thing, is that it's not that sure, your past job, I mean, everyone has aspects that they don't like about their job, but it's what you kind of take from it, and your attitude about it that really matters. And that's kind of cool.
I've always tried to maintain the attitude of I'm in this job until I'm not. I mean, even the previous job, I've been trying to stay there during the days I'm there, because it's hard to, because I did communicate to the boss. I'm not. This isn't how I'm telling my boss, by the way. She tunes in like, oh, that's why he hasn't been into work for the past 2 days. No, I give her a good amount of time. But it's easy to just kind of check out, and I think that is ethically poor to do.
Right.
I am there until the point I'm not there. And I need to be there because it's still the place God has called. That's kind of the big thing I picked out of
Yeah.
David, Pastor David. No, King David. Sorry,
Pastor
David.
David.
Also with Pastor David. No, King David is that when given the opportunity to kill Saul, he never did it because that's still the God's anointed king, and so until Saul isn't there, David needs to act as if he is king, as if Saul is king, because he is.
Right.
And if I'm in this job, even though I have this next thing coming up, I need to concentrate on the thing I'm in until I'm not there, while at the same time understanding that the path is going here.
Exactly.
I mean, towards the end of my previous job, I didn't pick up the project that takes 4 weeks to complete because I didn't have 4 weeks. Like, and that it was just like, hey, I could start this, but not gonna be able to finish it. So
Yeah. Exactly.
it's a matter of integrity and trusting God. And
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I feel like I've been kind of learning with my job too, because I kind of went in with it. I mean, I've told you this plenty of times. Kind of went in thinking, get in and get out and move on to the next thing, which is dumb.
do we want to bleep that, or are we gonna leave
no,
that in?
I mean,
okay, we're gonna leave
I think
that in.
that I've probably fully given that attitude at work too. But I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I see the point of integrity,
Right.
and investing,
Right.
because they've hired you because they think that you're going to bring value to the company. And if you're not going to do that, if that's not your plan, then get out of there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I've been working through is, how long should I stay? How much should I invest in this? And
Be there till you're not. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of my attitude I've gotten now is be there until I'm not. And I feel like God has made me content for now. And that's super cool because I kind of went in kind of freaking out. And that's, I don't know, yeah, it's cool that you said that because that's kind of what I've been working. I haven't really vocalized that to you, I don't even think yet.
No.
But yeah, no, that's
Right.
I'm excited for your this new transition for you.
I've always and just kind of like final thoughts for me on this is it's the thing I have always been able to see is if I stop at any point and I look back on everything that's been going on and everything God's done, the hand of God is just so clear. It's stupid. It's that this is so clear, God. I mean, even in this job, and there's plenty of parts of the story I'm either not going to tell or I'm not going to put it on a podcast. All right. Like just people hear this. Anyway, there's other parts of it that are more personal, because God was working in me a good amount of things. Right. But it's at this point, it's so clear to see this is the hand of God on this.
Right.
And to any time I was kind of doubting or questioning or any of that, at the time it felt pretty tense and anxious and all that. I mean, I had some pretty nasty anxiety for about a month in there also, just trying to, because there's a lot of other stuff going on also. But at this point, I'm able to stop and say, this is the hand of God. And if God is in that thing more than I thought God had been as I was going through it,
right,
then anything I have coming up, God is going to be in that in the same amount that he is in the previous thing, whether or not I actually feel him there.
Right.
And that, I think, is the foundation of trusting God, is understanding that even if I feel out of control, that there is still God that is in control and sovereign over all things and cannot be denied and cannot be squelched.
Squelched.
He can't be
Something.
welched.
No
So-
grape juice today.
Gosh, that was almost a good point. Then I just really ruined it at the end.
No, it was a good
So,
point.
so yeah, that's it. I'm excited. I'm sure there'll be updates.
This is a freaking cool. I mean,
there will be more graphic tees. I'll have to get more graphic tees to wear
gosh.
on the podcast and just in general.
Yeah. He has to appeal to children more now.
If I do end up in the scientist costume, I will borrow it and wear it on a podcast,
Yeah.
and that'll be the moment I've arrived. So,
But seriously, though, I mean, I think that you're going to do a fantastic job.
well, thank you.
And I couldn't think of anyone better to, be the shepherd of, my niece and nephews.
Shepherd's a fun title.
Because, I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
I mean, you have been basically, my kind of mentor for, I don't know, a long time now. And Danny has...
Sorry for that.
yeah. But, I mean, Danny has seriously made me into, who I am today, specifically with my relationship with God. And I think that you're going to do that in a fantastic way with
Well,
these
thank you.
children. And I'm excited.
I
I'm
am-
genuinely excited.
I am really excited. So, yeah. I'm really pumped about it. So, thank you.
Yeah.
And I get to work with Noelle.
Yep. Yeah, my sister's on staff. I didn't even mention that.
Did she go to staff meetings?
Staff meetings? Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
This is gonna be awesome. So, well,
Fun.
hold on. I'm trying to think of a segue. Shut up.
I'm going to keep on talking into the microphone until Danny comes up with the segues. So
Speaking of segues, segues are cool because it just rolls on in to a thing by leaning into it.
yeah.
If you want to lean into questions, this is bad.
That was terrible.
This is bad.
What? That
Wow.
made no sense.
No, it really didn't. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, also, we take questions so we
You're
don't
looking at
have
the
to say
camera and
dumb
it's
stuff
not
like
on.
this. I'm looking at the camera again. We, just take a clip and just kind of bring it in tight and put the audio over it. It'll be good. Hey, if anybody has questions, they can be sure and go to our website at thegospeloutpost.com/nobodyspecial and fill out the form on the bottom. If the form is confusing, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Seriously, listen to me. I'm going to talk into the microphone to you, the person that's listening right
You're
now.
pointing?
I'm pointing to you.
I get
I know
garbage
you
about
can see
looking at
me.
the camera when it's off. You're
No,
pointing.
listen. Okay, Danny, be quiet. This is me and them right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have questions, and I know that you want two mediocre guys to answer them. So, so you better
Dang it.
type that question in right now because we would
Please.
love to answer it for
Please.
you, even though it's going to be really mediocre. But
Wow. You're really
you should
selling
do it just because it's fun. But not really.
That is the worst encouragement. That was worse than my segue.
All right, so
Also, Facebook and Instagram, they can find us
Yes.
at Nobody Special Podcast. We're on YouTube at The Gospel Outpost.
right.
And
Give us a subscribe. Give us a like. Give us a
Smash-
follow.
smash
No,
that-
don't stop.
s-
I hate when you
smash-
say that. I hate when you say
smash
that.
the like dab
Stop.
on the haters
Gosh.
and
Oh,
smash the
man.
like button. Caleb, I think that is going to do it for us today. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. One more hour, a special long episode. No, but that's going to do it for us today. We appreciate everybody out there for tuning in, just getting an update on the stuff Caleb and I are doing, and
Right.
just trusting God in the process. This is going to keep going. This isn't ending, and we're going to have fun in the process. So,
Oh, yeah.
But that's going to do it for us today, and I'm Danny,
And I'm Caleb.
and we are Nobody
Nobody special.